Item 9, election of leader of the council. To move, Councillor Dewhurst.
Thank you, Chair. It gives me great pleasure to move that Councillor Anne Handley be elected not just next leader, but first female leader of East Riding of Yorkshire Council for the ensuing 4 years.
Thank you, Councillor Dewhurst. Councillor Aitken to second.
Thank you, and it's with great pleasure that I would like to second the proposal.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? In that case, I'll call upon Councillor Healy to speak.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to start by congratulating everybody on their election. The last few days since the election has been really, really positive. I've picked up some really positive vibes in the training rooms and the coffee bars and so on. A real feeling, I think, of positivity, people talking about collaboration, wanting to work together, wanting to be positive and wanting to put residents first. And this decision that we now make this morning is actually probably the most important decision that we're going to make over the next 4 years. It's more than just voting for the leader of the Conservative group. It's about who actually gets to run the council. It's quite possible in the next few minutes that the Liberal Democrats could find themselves in opposition. If that happens, we will be a constructive yet challenging opposition, thorough yet at all times respectful and respecting the will of the voters. But this decision is about respecting the will of the voters, and I think we just do need to pause for a moment to think about that. There are roughly 125,000 residents in the East Riding on the 4th of May, about 64% voted for non-Conservative candidates. Those residents voted for change. They did not vote for a continuing Conservative administration. And in fairness, along with millions across the country, we know that the Conservatives had a bad day losing around 1,000 seats because people wanted change. There's always going to be a little bit of party politics comes into this, and I think this is probably the moment for it, and then we can move on. We have to make that decision. It's an important decision. Now, Conservative members will rightly vote for the status quo. Perfectly justifiable. They were elected as Conservatives, and their voters gave them the thumbs up to remain in office. But what about the rest of us? 38 of us, to be precise, the majority. We represent the 64% who voted for change. And we, on this side and on that side there, need to carefully consider. We need to consider whether we take notice of the residents who supported us and voted for change, or do we disregard their wishes and give them the status quo of a Conservative administration which they don't want and they didn't vote for? So whilst this group will, I can assure you, play its full part in the life of this council, we will be collaborative, we will be challenging, and this morning we will be putting our residents first who voted for change. We will not be supporting this motion. And I must say that this is not a reflection on the Conservative leader or her deputy, both for whom I have the highest possible regard and look forward to working with, presumably in opposition. I just want to make the point that all of us as non-Conservative candidates need to examine our consciences very carefully as we decide whether we're going to reflect the trust that our residents placed in us by voting for change, or whether we're going to disregard that and give them the status quo. It's a simple decision to make, but it's one that our residents and our employees and the whole of the East Riding are looking to us to do and make a decision on today. You know what I think we should be doing? I've made it very clear. And I will also be calling for this to be a formally recorded vote, simply because our residents need full transparency on our intentions this morning. And they can then draw their own conclusions from the way that their elected representatives voted. Thank you, Chair.
Do you have 6 councillors to support you in having? That's slightly more than 6, but thank you. Right, council, you've heard the arguments, both for and against. I'm now going to call for all those in favour of councillor Handley to show. Right, you see the results in front of you on the rather wonderful bar chart. Those in favour, 39, and those against, 24. I can therefore say that councillor Handley is elected as the leader of East Riding of Yorkshire Council. We move on to item 10, appointments made by the leader. This has been circulated under separate cover. To move, councillor Handley.
Chair. May I first of all say congratulations, Chairman, on your re-election to office. I'm sure you'll continue to do a splendid job. I'd also like to give my thanks and congratulations to our Vice Chair, who I know will be equally as good. If I may say a few words, Chair. Thank you. Firstly, may I congratulate our incumbent councillors and welcome our newly elected councillors. Today, I am honoured to stand before you as the leader of this council. I was born in the 60s, a very different place. There was not much help, and my sister and I were without doubt the poorest children in the school. The class system was alive and kicking, but I wasn't going to let that hold me back. Leaving school, I had a few different jobs, from working in an egg packing factory to driving a tipper truck. I had to help my mum pay the rent, and a job was a job, but I always knew I wanted more. One day I went to the bank. The bank managers were really nice in them days. He asked me what I did, and he was shocked when I told him. So he asked me what I liked doing. And for those of you who know me, will not be at all surprised when I told him that I liked clothes. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll lend you some money. Find a shop and start your own business. So that's exactly what I did. I had a very successful business. However, after a few years, I could see a recession. I thought, here we go again. What am I going to do now? So never one to stand still for long. I signed myself up for a teaching course at the college. I sold my business and became a member of the Hull College group. I went on to do a degree in education with 2 children and a full-time job. It wasn't easy. Roll on a few more years, and I made a name for myself in Goole as the person at the college that always helped out in the community. After all, I did have a ready-made workforce, the students. We did so many things in the community. The students and staff would say, oh no, now what have you signed us up for? I eventually took early retirement, and I'm not sure who was most pleased, the staff or the students, knowing there was no more. I've had an idea coming from me. I have told you my background, as I truly believe it has made me the person that I am today. I have a burning desire and passion to do more and be the best, to inspire others, to have empathy, to be part of a team, to get things done. Because the leader is only as good as their team, the team that they have with them, and I never, ever give up. I have a proven track record that is there for everyone to see. And during COVID, I set up a food pantry to help our elderly. It has now turned into a hub in the middle of Goole that has a social supermarket along with many voluntary sector services supporting our residents. I work with a large FTSE 100 company as well as small medium enterprises. And Goole, over the past 4 years, has had more investment than any other part of the East Riding, something I would like to see across this region. All of this has shaped my vision and my ambitions. And putting residents first will be at the heart of everything we do. This means opportunity for all, from good education, skilled jobs, attracting more investment and supporting the most vulnerable in our communities. It also means value for money, delivering excellent core services, eliminating wasteful spending and putting money back into the pockets of our hard-working taxpayers. A key factor in delivering both of these ambitions will be our ability in securing the best devolution deal for our region, putting us firmly on the map. I want to encourage a council of peers, a more collaborative and cohesive way of working. I have some strong views and some great ideas of my own, but I want to include all of you and our residents in the way forward. I will have an open door policy, and any issues anyone is having, I will be there to listen, to offer support, advice and help. The kettle is always on, and together we will find a solution. I will not let you down. It's not in my DNA. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Handley. Congratulations on your election. And now we'll move on to item 12. No, we won't. We'll move on to item 10, which is appointments made by the leader, which were circulated under separate cover. It says to receive details of the leader's appointments to the cabinet, including the deputy leader and allocation of portfolios.
I'm ready. I'm okay to go. Thank you, Chairman. As in the papers that have been circulated, I am delighted to appoint my cabinet, which is the following. We have Councillor David Tucker, who is heading up adult health and care. I have Councillor Victoria Aitken, who will be heading up children, families and education. We have a new portfolio, and I'm delighted with this one. This is Nigel Wilkinson, and it's finance and governance. We have Councillor Nick Coltish as culture, leisure and tourism. Councillor Gary McMaster will be looking after all our housing and infrastructure. Councillor Paul West will be looking after all our transport and environment. And Councillor Leo Hammond will be looking at coastal communities and heritage. Sorry, I've said that wrong. I apologise, everybody. Sorry. Councillor Leo Hammond will be looking at planning, policy and communities. We do have a vacancy that we will not be filling at the moment. Thank you. Oh, the second most important person in the room is our deputy Councillor Charlie Dewhurst, who will be responsible for all corporate resources, digital and communication. Sorry, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Handley.